Hi, in this video, I want to show you something really fun that you can do in HighLevel, which is to create gradient backgrounds for your sections and other layout element backgrounds. Okay, let's get started. Go to edit your page and click into any, I'm going to do it in a section background here to keep it simple. The way that you do this is to create CSS, the global level of your page in the CSS settings. So that's going to be up here at the top. You're going to be going into your custom codes here. Now, if you're not a coder, if you don't know anything about web development, this can look a little bit scary, but suffice to say, with a simple copy and paste and a little trial and error, you'll be able to do it. So don't worry. And it's gonna be worth it because you're gonna have fun creating backgrounds and being able to have that versatility as you are updating your pages, creating new pages, whether it's in websites or funnels in HighLevel. So let's just go ahead and get started. I do have a background in this particular section, and that's what I really love about being able to use gradients is that I can use an image. As you can see, there's kind of this glowy star thing. Now that is a PNG that I saved with a transparent background, and so it lays right over my gradient. And I love that because then I don't have to keep going back and forth to, in this case, Canva. I'm using Canva to create my images and to create backgrounds. I can just create the one element of the background that I want. And then the rest I can just play with in HighLevel with the gradient kind of trick. I'll call it a trick or styling. Let's go ahead and look at how we create the gradient. So we can leave the background image in there. And the way we're going to create the gradient is by going to another website, which I'll show you in a second. And then once we have what we need from the other website, we're going to use a combination of the advanced CSS selector and a custom CSS settings up here. So in order to play with gradient combinations, you can go to this website, cssgradient.io, and for free, you can play with the gradient colors, and then you can pick up the code so that you can place it in your page in HighLevel. So as you can see here, we have a gradient style. I can add as many different steps in the gradient as I want to so that I can create a more dynamic with different colors. But for this demo, we're just going to do the 2-color gradient. And so for each color, you can click on the color slider and then go ahead in here and kind of edit your color this way. And you're going to see the hex values change as you go up and down. The great thing is you don't have to worry about these numbers. Just you get to visually just kind of pick your color, pick your colors, pick your settings, and then what you're going to do is you're going to see the gradient here in this area, so you can see what you're getting. And then once you're all done and you have the color that you want, you can go ahead and copy and paste it from right here. So let's change the color that I have on the page right now. So I'll select this. I'm just going to make this a little darker so we can see the difference. And then I'm going to make this a little bit darker too. And then I'm going to go ahead and let's see, I don't have to even hit any button. It updates here. I'm going to copy this to my clipboard. I'm going to go back over to HighLevel. Okay, so now I have the code that is created from my CSS gradient generator. I have the code for that. It's not going to be attached to any section until I get the section ID, class ID, which is right here. And I'll show you how to grab that and then marry it together with the code. So I'm just going to add this here, the gradient code that I just copied. I added it in, copied that into my custom CSS box here. And I'm just trying to scroll over without like making my whole page scroll over. Actually, I'm just going to save that for now. So I know it's there. I copied it in. Now I'm going to go to the section that I want to change the background gradient for. I'm in the section, I go to the advanced tab, go all the way to the bottom, and this section here has this CSS selector assigned to it. Now that was assigned automatically by HighLevel. It was already there, and so I didn't need to do anything. If I want to create another class name, I can here. That's more advanced and for other stuff. But just for this, the purposes of this, where we're playing with these gradients, you can just copy this selector, CSS selector ID here, go back up to your custom CSS and see where I pasted in the code from this CSS generator. I'm just going to paste my selector right there. Now I just have to take one more step to make sure that this is code that's actually going to work. You need to have the squigglies. The squiggly brackets need to go around the actual style like this. And then if you get stuck on this, you can always go to AI, like whatever AI assistant you might be using, like ChatGPT. You can go to ChatGPT and ask for help. You can say, hey, I got this. Okay, I'm going to add the end squiggly there. I got this code from this CSS generator and I need to add it into HighLevel. Like, how do I do it? Or, here's my code, what's missing or what am I doing wrong? So you can always ask for help with AI in a pinch. Hey, Camille here, founder of YodlePop. After years of running my content conversion and marketing automation agency and a ton of experience with HubSpot, I was really ready for something fresh. That's why I created something special. Our version of HighLevel YodlePop, paired with coaching, services, and programs to help entrepreneurs get comfortable with creating marketing assets and using automation without the headache. With my background in content design and web development and a touch of artistry, I make sure it's not just functional, but fun too. Let's make marketing simple and a little more exciting. You'll find a link below to learn more about YodlePop and our HighLevel concierge platform. Or if you're just curious about trying HighLevel out on your own, there's a link for that too. And don't forget to subscribe for content marketing tips, automation tutorials, insights, and some fun along the way. Okay, so now I've added both my gradient code and my section CSS selector ID, and I've added in the squiggly brackets because they weren't there already. And so now, let's see, let me look at this one. Look at the ID here, and these are ones that I placed on this page earlier. And as you can see, I've got two IDs here that have the same styling, and one of them matches this. So that's going to conflict. So I'm going to take this out of here because I have a new gradient that I want to put in for that section. So I'm just going to go ahead and, okay, I'm all set now. This selector doesn't have any other, it's not included in any of the other code. So I'm going to save that. And now I have just a little bit darker purple, pink, and then darker on the other side as well. So voila, I updated my gradient. So likewise, if you do want to keep playing with it and updating it, all you have for the same section, all you need to remember is to go back in here, find that same section, and then paste in your new gradient code after you've played with the gradient code some more. So that's really all it takes to make gradient backgrounds in HighLevel. And again, what I love about this is that it really saves time. So you don't have to like create graphic backgrounds and bring them in. You could use a combination of images with transparent backgrounds or images that you assign a fade to. So another way to do this is another way to kind of play with the interchange between the images, whether they are graphical with background eliminated from them, or if it's a whole image, you can still play between the gradient color background and the image by using the fade. So if I click back into this section here and I look at, here's my image, that my image is just this white ray with the stars, and it doesn't have any other background to it. So it's like mostly transparent. So that's why I'm seeing the gradient background so well. And I'll show you. So right now that background image has a opacity of half fade. I could even do a heavy fade, and as you can see, it got even more transparent, the image. If I do none at all, you can see that there a little bit better. So you can see how I can adjust my image without changing the background color. And then vice versa, I can adjust the background color without having to change the image at all. So it really creates a lot more versatility than trying to create backgrounds in another platform and then bring them in. And then if you don't like them, then you have to keep swapping them out and going back and forth. So this is a way to have kind of that interplay between the color and the images in the background. Let's actually look at an example, and I'm going to actually swap out this image. So let's look at what I was just talking about. Like, let's say you added in a full image that basically doesn't have any transparency in it. So I added an image in here that doesn't have any transparency in it, in the image itself. And I want to see how I can play with the image and then the color behind the image. And so you can see that this image I placed it, but you can still kind of see that pink purple background. And that's because we have a heavy fade on the image. If I did like a no fade, so now I'm just going to see the image, right? And so, but when I do the light fade or half fade, I'm starting to reduce the opacity of that image, and I can go all the way to the heavy fade. And then if I want to play again with the background, I can either just use a solid background color, but if I use a solid background color, if I decide to go with a solid background color instead of a gradient, I just have to make sure that I remove the CSS for that particular section. So if we go over here to advanced, we'd see that it says section and it just ends with an L48. And so if I go back over to custom CSS, I'm going to look and see if I have an L48, and I guess I don't have an L48 in here, so I must have been using a solid color on that. I thought for sure I had a gradient on that. But so if I wanted to use a just a solid color, I just have to make sure I remove the gradient. But then if I want to use a gradient, like let's try to use a gradient with this one too behind the photo. So I think what I'll do is I'm going to try just to use sort of a really dark gradient behind there so we can really see that, and try a couple different colors. I'm going to